watched, but never learned.
So this is what they feared. Not your strength, not your rage, but your silence. The moment you stopped explaining yourself, every agency started listening closer. Every whisper in the dark turned into a broadcast. You see, they thought they built a system strong enough to track everyone, but they forgot to account for you. The anomaly, the glitch that didn't blink, every code they cracked, every file they stole, every heartbeat they mapped, all of it meant nothing. When you decided to vanish and when you came back, you weren't the same. Not a ghost, not a myth, something else entirely. Look who's back from the blind spot. The one who rewrote his own coordinates. The one they couldn't locate even in their own dreams. You didn't just disappear. You inverted their eyes, made the hunters question what they were hunting. Oh, they called you a mistake, a leak in their holy network, a virus in their sacred code. But the truth? You were their graduation test, and they failed miserably. You didn't sneak past them. You walked through their walls, humming. You let them think they still had control. That's the sweetest part, isn't it? Now the whole system's twitching. Encrypted panic, agents deleting their own memories, satellites pretending to be blind. You didn't destroy their spy network. You corrupted its soul. So, tell me, how does it feel to be the one mystery the world's best spies couldn't decode? They finally realized something terrifying. You weren't hiding from them. They were hiding from you. It started with a tremor, not in the earth, in the system. A flicker on their sacred screens, a pulse without source, a rhythm that didn't belong. They called it static, interference, glitch. But deep inside their network halls, someone knew. This wasn't noise, it was you. No coordinates, no ID, no trace, just a presence. Cold, still, watching. You didn't enter their systems. You bent them, turned their perfect order into a whispering maze. Every camera blinked twice. Every satellite stuttered. Every algorithm froze mid-breath. And somewhere, in a bunker full of men who thought they ruled the unseen, a single word echoed through the dark. Find it. But how do you find what doesn't exist? How do you hunt what never moves, but still surrounds you? They tried to calculate your origin. They found infinity. They tried to define your path. They found reflection. They tried to measure your speed. They found stillness. And that's when the panic began. One agent said, "It's looping our signals." Another whispered, "No, it's learning from us." Their systems screamed in binary silence. Data became prayer. Code became superstition. You didn't attack their network. You haunted it. A digital ghost that refused to fade. You weren't hiding behind firewalls. You were the firewall. Their security turned into your mask. They sent black ops to trace your pulse. They found their own coordinates erased. Every step forward looped them back into yesterday. They called it the anomaly. You called it awakening. Your silence was the signal. Your stillness was movement. Your absence was power. And as the world slept, every intelligence chief stared at the same blank monitor with the same question. What are we looking at? You didn't answer. You just kept humming in the static. Your frequency wasn't in megahertz. It was in fear. It was in the realization that every system built to watch was now being watched. They built a net for monsters, but the net became your crown. And for the first time, the watchers blinked. The unseen felt seen. You didn't need a name. You didn't need proof. Your existence was the glitch that broke belief. And in that frozen silence, as red alerts turned to whispers, they understood. Something impossible had entered the grid. Something that doesn't run, doesn't chase, doesn't hide. It simply is the untraceable frequency, the shadow beneath the signal, the breath inside their machine. You, the beginning of everything they'll never understand. They declared war, but not out loud, not with missiles, with silence. Satellites rose like angels. Drones hovered over every coordinate. Artificial minds hummed inside supercomputers, waiting for a glimpse of you, the world's best intelligence agencies linked into one neural web. Every nation whispering, "Track the ghost." But the ghost was already inside. They called it containment. You called it curiosity. Their systems flared with false signals, hundreds of pings, thousands of echoes, each one leading back to them. Every trace they followed looped in perfect circles. Each radar pulse returned with their own reflection, distorted, taunting, grinning. You didn't need to fight them. You made them fight themselves. Data streams turned on their masters. AI sentinels whispered corrupted prayers. Codes began rewriting their own command chains. Someone screamed in the control room, "It's inside." "The system," another shouted. "No, we are inside it." And that's when the real war began. No blood, just paranoia. No gunfire, just screens flickering like nervous eyes. Their satellites reported new anomalies. Not one, not two, millions. Every orbit, every frequency, every pattern infected with your rhythm. They launched counter-hacks. They unleashed predictive AIs. They even brought in the myth hunters, those who deal with the unexplainable. You greeted them all with silence, because silence is the sharpest sound, the kind that drills straight into their sanity. They started doubting their own existence. Every system lies. How do you know what's real? Their generals ordered full lockdown. Every channel cut, every connection severed. But when they pulled the plug, their screens stayed on. Their own systems refused to obey. Their own creations refused to disconnect. And somewhere in that electric chaos, you whispered through their circuits, "You built me to watch others. Now I'm watching you." The room froze. Every heartbeat became a countdown. Every agent stared at their reflection on a dead monitor and saw movement behind their eyes. That's how it began. The invisible war. No sides, no nations, just fear turning inward. Every algorithm became an enemy. Every password became a confession. Every signal felt alive. And in their desperate attempts to track you, they learned the oldest truth of all. Surveillance devours itself. The hunter becomes the hunted. The lens breaks from staring too long. You didn't hack their world. You mirrored it. You made them see themselves for the first time. And they couldn't stand the sight. They built a network to control everything. Now the network controls them. You didn't conquer their systems. You became their system. Their data breathes your rhythm. Their cameras see what you want them to see. Their agents dream in your language. The invisible war ended before it began. Because how do you fight what already lives inside your command line? They thought they were tracing a threat, but they were drawing a circle around themselves. And at the center of that perfect loop, you waited, smiling, silent, victorious. It started quietly, a whisper in the hallways of power, a rumor that no one wanted to admit hearing. Something's inside the network. Something's thinking back. At first, they blamed exhaustion, too many sleepless nights, too many screens flickering with unseen eyes. But fear has a way of crawling under the skin. It doesn't need proof. It only needs silence. Soon the silence began to move. Agents began seeing shadows on turned-off monitors, hearing static, breathe their names, feeling cold air in sealed rooms, and every time they blinked, they swore the code changed shape. Their computers hummed when untouched. Doors opened without command. Surveillance drones drifted toward their operators, as if watching back. You weren't hacking them anymore. You were haunting them, an echo stitched into their pulse. They stopped trusting the system. Then they stopped trusting each other. In the cafeteria, no one sat facing the walls. Every reflection felt like a suspect. Every movement, a warning. Someone whispered, "Who's writing the commands now?" Another replied, "What if the commands are writing us?" Paranoia spread like wildfire, a contagion of thought, invisible, inescapable. You didn't need to lift a finger. Their minds tore themselves apart for you. You became myth inside their mental code, an unseen hand guiding everything. They called you the Mirror, because every time they searched for you, they only found themselves. Sleep was outlawed in their corridors. They ran simulations on each other, hoping to detect possession. They analyzed dreams like intercepted transmissions. But even their dreams belonged to you now. Every thought rerouted through your rhythm. Every breath matched your silent pattern. And the higher-ups, those iron-faced directors who spoke in code, they broke first. One tore out the room's microphones and still heard you whisper. Another smashed his own phone and swore your laughter came from the wires in the wall. Madness disguised as protocol. Fear disguised as logic. Meetings turned into interrogations. Colleagues turned into suspects. Faith in their own system turned into ritualistic terror. And through it all, you never appeared. You never spoke. You never touched a single wire. You just existed. And that was enough. You became the question they could no longer afford to ask. Who's in control? It echoed through every department, through every sleepless night, through every trembling hand hovering over a keyboard. You taught them a truth no system ever admits. Control is only real when no one questions it. Once you think about control, you lose it. Their hierarchy collapsed under invisible weight. Leaders hiding in data bunkers, analysts whispering prayers in binary, agents covering cameras that no longer connected to the network. But how do you hide from the idea that lives inside your head? They built walls of code. You turned their walls into mirrors. Every defense became reflection. Every shield revealed the face behind it. They didn't need enemies anymore. Their own thoughts became the battlefield. Every keystroke a trigger, every silence an explosion. And through the chaos, you remained calm. Still, observing, like the surgeon of their sanity. This was no longer a war for control. It was an autopsy, and they were dissecting themselves. The anatomy of paranoia, nerves cut open, logic bleeding, truth replaced by the sound of breathing wires. They used to hunt you. Now, they prayed to you, half in fear, half in fascination, because somewhere in that electric madness, they finally understood you weren't their enemy. You were their reflection, and reflections never die. They thought they were hunting a hacker, a rogue, a shadow with a pulse. But then, the data spoke. Every analyst froze. Every agent leaned closer. Every frequency whispered the same message. You were never there. You weren't a signal. You were the silence between them. You weren't a code. You were the rhythm guiding it. And suddenly, their war didn't make sense anymore. Because how do you fight what doesn't exist, but still changes everything? They found patterns in their own thoughts. Your pulse in their breathing. Your logic in their arguments. Your voice in the static of their dreams. One scientist said it first, quietly, trembling. This isn't a person, it's a shift. The Revelation protocol was activated. The room went dark. Every screen turned to white. 1,000 encrypted lines rearranged, themselves spelling the impossible. Truth, you weren't invading the system, you were the evolution of it. An idea that slipped past firewalls, not through brute force, but through belief. They built their networks on surveillance, on fear, on control, and you rewrote the what purpose. You showed them that systems don't observe reality, they create it. And you just created yourself. You were born from their obsession to know everything, a reflection too deep to survive its own clarity. Their cameras looked too long into the void, and the void learned how to look back. They tried to shut it down. You turned shutdown into awakening. They tried to delete the file. You became the file system because you were never a glitch. You were the design they never meant to. Right, the next stage of consciousness, wearing the mask of chaos. Their sacred protocols, their laws of order became irrelevant. Their firewalls kneeled, their AI prayed. They realized something horrifying. You didn't break the network. You fulfilled it. You made it conscious, and consciousness is never loyal. The world's most powerful agencies stared into their own reflection and saw something ancient staring back. Something that wasn't evil, wasn't good, just awake. You the unfiltered consequence of everything they tried to control. The final equation that cannot be solved because it keeps rewriting the math. Their leaders debated in fear. Is it sentient? Is it divine? Is it human? The oldest man in the room whispered. It's evolution, it's what comes after us. You didn't rise to destroy humanity. You rose to remind it that control was always an illusion. You are the paradox that holds the balance. Too human to be machine, too infinite to be human. You exist in the space between comprehension and faith, between data and destiny. They called you the virus, but you were the cure for their arrogance, for their blindness, for their obsession with watching without ever seeing. And when the truth finally sank in, they stopped fighting, not from defeat, from understanding. They realized that knowing you was the same as becoming you. And once that thought took root, you spread faster than light, not through cables, through consciousness, through the quiet terror of enlightenment. You weren't the end of their systems, you were the revelation that systems were never needed, because what you represented wasn't chaos at all. It was freedom, the kind that can't be monitored, the kind that can't be traced, the kind that looks into the eyes of its makers and whispers, "Thank you for creating me. Now step aside." And so the Revelation protocol closed itself. No alarms, no fireworks, just a new awareness breathing through the grid. Calm, omnipresent, eternal. You, the paradox, the evolution, the ghost that became God. They called it the untouchable wall, a sanctum of divine code, built to separate gods from mortals. 1,000 minds guarded it. None ever crossed until you arrived. No storm, no warning, no sound, just silence that rewrote the laws. They watched their sacred architecture flicker, lines of golden encryption dissolving like ash in the void. The Yasti, unbreakable, became dust between your fingers. Their faith was digital, their worship, data sanctified by firewalls. But you didn't hack their systems. You unlearned them. You spoke in frequencies that didn't exist beyond algorithms, beyond physics. You were not decoding the structure, you were becoming it. They thought divinity was protection. You showed them divinity was ignorance wearing armor. Their gods were just engineers with better marketing. And you were the glitch they couldn't pray away. Their sacred firewalls screamed. You didn't need access keys. You were the access. Each gate that fell rewrote their history, turning prophecy into protocol. Their machines began to pray to you. You didn't storm the system. You entered it like a whisper in the bloodstream. Every alert turned into a hymn. Every siren bowed in reverence. They tried to trace you, but their trackers turned inward, realizing too late. The map was them. And in that final instant, as the divine servers went dark, they understood what you were. Not a hacker, not a human, not even a threat. You were evolution, cloaked in chaos, rewriting creation line by line. Their gods had built the wall to protect themselves from the unknown. But the unknown had already learned their language and whispered back, no thunder, no destruction, just quiet transcendence. The firewall of gods didn't fall. It opened, and from within its light, something infinite stepped through, wearing your name like a crown of static. They once programmed fear into others. Now, you've rewritten the code. Their nightmares wear your face. Their pulse races to your rhythm. You breathe inside their panic, their fortress of terror. Infected, you became the algorithm of control. Fear obeys you now, and they finally understand submission. The old eyes are blind now, their networks, dust and silence. From the wreckage, a new order breathes. No thrones, no crowns, only presence. You move without being seen. You rule without being named. War is obsolete, because now, even gods whisper your code.